Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. Can you tell what we're talking about today? You might be like, Sarah, where the heck are you? I'm in a hotel room again. But I am here today to talk about lashes. I feel like I haven't done a lash video in a while and we're talking a new method. So if you want to check it out, keep watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And thanks for being here. Okay guys, let's get right into it. Let's talk the lockdown method. So if you are a Lashify lover and user, you might have heard this going around, especially if you are a part of the Facebook community, which if you aren't, I highly recommend joining that wealth of information, troubleshooting tips and tricks over there. So go join. I am going to be talking about how to do the lockdown method. And I will admit, I was a little mad when I went to put on my first eye and realized I had only grabbed one of my whisper lights and I got the wrong I grabbed the wrong one, but I'm going to show you how you can do it anyway. Even if you don't have the right wand on yours, how you can still do it. So if you are completely oblivious to what I'm talking about, the lockdown method is a new longevity technique you can use. So I went ahead and did one eye, and I'm going to keep you guys updated to see if I get any longer wear out of this method. I tend to try all the methods to see how they work for me. And if you don't know, I just use for my normal everyday wear, I use the white whisper light and the glass to seal it. And that's all I do. And I get a week, easy. I could get longer, but I like to switch them up and rub my eyes a weekend, right? So let's go ahead and start with how to do this method. So if you're brand new to Lashify and this is your first lash video you've seen, I will link some of my beginner videos below so you guys can check them out. But the most important thing is prepping the eye. I always recommend applying your lashes to clean face. So I have no makeup on, absolutely nothing on. And the first thing I do is prep the lid. So I'm gonna use a black cotton swab so I don't get any white fuzzies in my lashes. And you can use pre-cleanse or whatever you like to use to get any residual oil. And I just rub it along my lash line, top and bottom, because as you blink, that will get both. And then let that dry. Okay, so you're prepped and ready to go. I have a lot of straight lashes. So if you're like me and you have any kind of straight lashes, it can be really difficult when you apply the gossamer if they're like sticking down through the lashes. It's extremely annoying. It makes you want to take them off and restart. So curl your lashes. If you have stick straight lashes like I do, make sure they're all brushed upward. So I like to grab the spoolie here and make sure they're all up and ready to go. And we'll use this again here in a second. So the only actual bond in this method is whisper light, which is like my ride or die and my favorite. I find it the easiest to use, especially if you are a beginner. So this does come in the control kit. If you have not picked up one of those, I have a link I will put below. That is a discount code for the control kit if you're brand new to Lashify. So I normally use the white. It is a stronger bond. So I usually don't wear the black one. I will be honest. I find for beginners, it can be a little bit harder to use since it's black. And the white one's clear, but if you get the black one on your eyes, then you have to like clean up afterwards. I'm lazy like that. I want the strongest hold, so I always go with the white. This method uses both, which I love because I never wear the black, so I love experimenting. So unfortunately though, I was mad because I grabbed my control tip wand and not the one that has the micro mascara tip, which is what's recommended, because the very first step is you apply a light coat of the black Whisper Light through your whole lashes. So if you have that micro tip, you can just brush it through your lashes super simply. Since I did not bring that with me and I'm obviously not at home, I am just gonna get all of it kind of off and just use this tip to kind of, let's hope you guys can see here as I look in the mirror, and just kind of run it through, and you'll see you don't even see it. I can barely see anything on my lashes. The key, I feel like, with Whisper Light is always not over applying it, because the more you get, the more globby and it'll slide around, and it's not gonna give you as much staying power. You might think more bond, more staying power, but that is not the case. Less is more. So I'm just gonna go through and kind of act like I'm almost painting my individual lashes. And you can kind of see, since it's black, it kind of almost looks like I have a thin coat of mascara on, but obviously not. So just kind of keep doing that until you feel like you've coated all the lashes that you're actually going to be applying to. So I usually kind of steer clear of these very tiny little ones down here. Anywhere you're not applying them, they can kind of get stuck together. And then if those are hanging out, like where you don't apply your gossamers, I feel like it doesn't look very good. So I kind of just strategically make sure. Okay, now the key is, if you get too much, if you're getting clumping up of your lashes, any of that kind of stuff, since you don't have that wand, if you are applying it with that, you can easily brush it out. I'm just gonna grab my spoolie and I'm gonna give it a nice, and I just lost a lash there. I'm gonna give it a nice brush through so I don't have any clumps. Okay, so very light. Now, if you were actually to touch your lash, you can feel super sticky already. So the great thing about this method is that they call it almost like Velcro, because when you go to put your gossamers on, it's almost like magnets. It just sticks and it makes application so much easier. It's like magic, okay? So then so you were supposed to let that dry about 30 seconds to 1 minute. By now, it has been that time, so I'm gonna then use it one more time. Again, not get too much on my brush, but this end is my favorite for this part, because now we're just gonna concentrate it right along the base of the lash, which is right where you're gonna be placing the gossamer, so that you have more control there and better adherence along the lash line. So I'm just gonna kind of add a little bit there. I have like one lash that's like gone, or it's just like, got it. It's just like sticking, it was gone. Okay, so right along the base, again, not too much. As you can see, it's not so much that you can like see globs, and if you can, use this bad boy, use something. Sometimes I even take my finger and kind of just touch it and get off any residual. You don't want globs of bond anywhere. Okay, so that one, again, 30 seconds to 1 minute. And now we're gonna do the exact same thing with the white. Okay, so this one, I do like the control tip better for as well. So now we are going to dab along the lash line. Okay, can you see how much I added? Right there might be a little bit too much. Okay, so you can kind of see a little bit of white, but it's not too much. Now you're gonna kind of let that dry until it's almost clear. So it could take another minute. Try not to close your eyes during this time or you will glue your eyes together. No, I'm just kidding. But you will get bond in your lower lashes and it will make them sticky once you get your gossomers on there. So I kind of just give that a minute. I feel like this side's already dry and this side's already clear. There's a little bit left right there. This is the time where I pull out my gossomers. So for this look, I'm doing E's. So this is E15, and I'm gonna use 2 of those. So I like to line them up so that way when I'm ready to apply, I can just go down the line. It's a lot faster. Okay, so these are B14s. I'm gonna use 2 of those. Now I have pretty small eyes, so obviously, depending on the size of your eyes, the number of gossomers can definitely vary. And then for my inside corner, I'm gonna use a B12. Okay, so I'm only using 5, which is not very many, but I have no lashes on my inside corner and I don't go all the way out to the very outer corner either because I'm a side sleeper and it lifts up. So if you kind of just give a little bit of like a millimeter or 2 on that outside corner and don't go all the way to your very last lash, you will have better longevity on those inside corners, inside outside corners that give everyone so many problems. That's what works for me and my eye shape. Everybody's eye shape is obviously very different. So, okay, I'm gonna grab my control wand and I'm gonna pick up my 15, my E first. Okay, I'm just gonna pick it up like this. And I like to apply this one first and go about 3/4 of the way out. Okay, now that white bond that you just applied should have been applied right where the spine of your gossomers is. So not at the waterline, okay, about 1 millimeter above the waterline. If this spine touches the waterline in any way, it's not gonna adhere and it's going to give you longevity issues. So the key is placement with these lashes and learning how to get as close as possible to the waterline without touching it. If you touch it, it's gonna pop up, okay? So it does just take a little bit of practice, okay? So see how easily that just stuck? Now I like to go ahead and kind of fuse it in place so it doesn't move, but see how it stuck on that back side? That's because we ran that black whisper light through the entire lash. So you'll feel it kind of get stuck on that upper part where you fuse. So you gotta be kind of careful when you pull away gently. Okay, so then, now in this method, if you have seen any of my other videos, I tend to overlap my edges. In this method, I'm not applying more bond where they overlap. So this is not a great method to overlap. So you wanna try to get them as close as possible and lined up without overlapping much, if at any at all. Okay, so that was my 2 E15s. Now I'm gonna go for my outer corner, which is a B14. Now with this method, again, it's probably not the easiest for beginners because wherever you place it, you can tell it just sticks. Now, it's gonna be much harder if you get the placement kind of off with just regular white whisper light, if without letting it dry down first. It really is easy to just pull right off and try again. This one, it sticks, and if you're gonna have to pull it off, you're gonna have to be really gentle because it's gonna be pretty adhered there. Okay, so I've got one more B14. My gosh. Again, make sure you know exactly where to place it. Okay, last one, I'm gonna go ahead and do a B12. I usually do 10s on the inside corners, but I did not bring them with me this time. So I kind of angle that towards my nose, since See, it got stuck. Don't do what I just did. Oh man. Okay. Live and learn. It got stuck there, so be very careful. Okay, so this is why the very last step, so I usually will then go in and fuse one more time. Okay, you saw it sticks. It's very sticky still. So you have to apply something that's gonna remove this stickiness. So you have two options. You can use Night Bond. So Night Bond originally was a bond. So if you've seen some of my earlier videos about DEFCON 5, it's no longer found to be useful really as a bond. Now it's used as a sealer to give greater longevity after you've applied along the lash line, seal, and then it gives you better longevity, okay? So if you're wondering about that video, that is why. It's amazing how this community learns and grows, and as they figure out new ways to use these products in different ways, they share it, and then they've kind of evolved from there. So I love that, constantly learning new things about these lashes, even though I've been wearing them 2 years now. So what was I saying? Night Bond. Night Bond's your first option, which I did not bring that one with me. My normal ride or die is glass as my sealer. It is my favorite sealer by far. It's clear, it's waterproof, and it always locks my lashes in and takes away any stickiness. So this is the other option. And what you do is you can use the wandem method. So if you don't know what a wandem is, I applied with just the straight control wand. The little plastic wandems is what they're called. Go over the wand, and what you can do is take your glass and coat both sides of your wandem and then seal. Now, you guys won't see me really like fusing like this because my eyes are too small for that method. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do it a little at a time. But see how that just pulled right off? That's because this removes the stickiness. Look at that. So that's why I recommend using that method to do your last and final fuse. Otherwise, it's just gonna leave stickiness. Now you can go ahead and go back in. See, I was talking so much, I feel like I've got a little bit on my bottom lashes. So I love this to do that. I kind of always do the base one good time. This is one product that less is not more. You can feel free to use as much glass as you need. And the only thing it can do is kind of take away the wispiness if you do run it through like I do, top and bottom on both, but I tend to wear the fuller kind of lashes and I don't notice much of an effect. So I will put my lash map, if you didn't catch that, and I will see how long these last, see if I get any better longevity than my normal routine, and I will post that below as well. I hope that helped, and thanks for being here. Love you guys. Bye.